Welcome to Arts Astro. Today it's April 17th. We have a bunch of energy going on. We're riding a wave right now. Building up to this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction that's happening on the 20th. Right now we have Chiron pretty active. I've talked about Chiron a bunch in the other videos recently. And, today's a day where lots of people are going to be feeling it. Lots of stuff from the past coming back up. Old haunts are being activated. Some people experiencing loss now. There's a lot in this space where we have Mercury retrograde. It's going to be hitting this in forward progression by, May 2nd or something like that. Anyway, with Mercury retrograde, we're connecting to our past. We're connecting to old things. And we're moving in this reflective space, right? A lot of these losses and hard feelings, in the bigger picture, we're experiencing them now because we're getting ready to start this new cycle with Jupiter and Uranus. Just to get into that real quick, on the bigger picture, people talk about Jupiter with expansion and abundance and so on and so forth. Through a different lens, what we're really dealing with is collective expressions, right? So you and I are connected. We're all these moments of time that are stretching out. We each have our energetic moment, right? Our time of birth, we have all the energy present in that moment, and we're essentially imprinted with it. We are that moment, and we're out here experiencing everything that it's got. There's a potential to take it wherever we can in that framework. This is where free will and our design, destiny, this is where it meets. And this is where we're directing that path. And, we direct this path. If we just think about time, we're linking a moment from the past to the moment of the future. We're projecting ourselves forward, and if we're moving through time, we gotta move in balance. It is a forward progression where we're seeing the future. That's our belief that it exists, and that's what we're moving towards. But we're moving from the past. We're taking a step. If we're thinking about physical steps, you shift balance before you move forward. So the past acts as like a springboard. When we're stuck in these Chiron moon spaces, moon today is squaring Uranus Jupiter conjunction. When we're in this space, it's easy to get lost in our emotions, in the past. And, if you think about emotions, they make you cry. It's an excess of water, right? And in astrology, you often hear it related through water. It is water that connects us all. It is that emotional bonding that allows the energy to link. It's conductive. It's moving that energy around. But if we have too much water, we're creating mud. We are leaving ourselves stuck in the past, and a lot of this happens through ego attachments. Where we're only able to connect through our singular perspective, and it takes moving out of that space of ego and seeing things in another perspective, tapping into the other elements that are going on. You'll often hear physical activity if you're, not doing well, you're depressed, all those things. Going out into nature, like thinking your way through it, Cognitive therapy is a great tool. Essentially, you do need to go back and change the perspective from the past and create a new pathway. We're rewiring ourselves when we do this. In that space of emotion, we're not allowing that forward progression. We're holding ourselves back. I know I've talked about this before. So you got to find a new way to think about it. And part of that is stepping out of your own ego. Because that's where we get stuck. We're part of a much bigger stream, and we are all connected. And it's an energetic equality. But we can't have every experience in the same moment. This is the multiverse of views. We're all experiencing our moment, and we're directing it. We're directing not all of it, but we are directing how we experience each moment and the moments that we attach our ego to. So, you might be experiencing loss right now. You can be stuck where it's a loss, or you can connect to the past positive versions. The past, that's why I'm saying to alter the perspective, because if it is holding you back, by reframing that, you're allowing that energetic springboard to where instead of connecting to a negative polarity, you're magnetizing an alternate view so that you can project it forward into a positive polarity, and you do that by connecting to positive perspectives. If you've experienced a lot of hardship, a lot of trauma, I get it. I've gone through my own stuff, and continue to. But part of moving through that is I'm not saying don't feel it. I'm just saying bring it into balance. And you do that by shifting the perspective. Instead of holding on to those things where you're keeping that pain inside, you can move out of it. You can move to a different place and, attaching to the love, the experience, the joy, those things that you got to go through, instead of the other end of the polarity spectrum. You get to move forward from a different place. And, that's what all this energy is setting up, right? So we're hitting this conjunction. People talk about change and surprise and all these things with Uranus. When we're looking at it through this lens of Jupiter, and we're talking about a collective, the whole stream, what Uranus does is it brings us into the moment, right? So if we're off in La La Land, too far in the future, too far in the past, Uranus can be very shocking, and it can snap you into this moment, because that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to give you this space, bring you back into the now, and that is where we're operating from. That's what we're actually doing, right? So it's a good opportunity to collectively shift, individually shift. There's going to be a lot of potential to shift in all kinds of directions and to bring various moments from the past into the future. So it's a really important moment to let stuff go, and to find those new ways so that you are moving forward in a positive way. If you think about Uranus from a planetary position, what's it doing? It's got this rolling orbit, right? So if you can imagine the energy from the sun radiating out, every planet is bringing that energy into its orbit and it's transforming it. That's Uranus's job, is to completely spin it in a different direction. And it's exciting. There's a lot of excitement in this space if you can find it. I'm excited when we look at the bigger picture, we're always dealing in reflections, right? So if we're taking a collective framework mindset, there might be some harsh realities that come about. There's so much energy that's still relating to water with Pisces and fire and air, with Aries. We had a lot of disruption in waterways, travel, bridges collapsing. We have this crap in Israel, and there's a lot with the canal there. These are themes that aren't resolved, but we're going to see some movement, and not necessarily in positive ways. When we have this expanding energy, it's expanding the moment. So, one of the ways that happens, with this conjunction, Mars is going to be in angle to it, coming from Pisces. There's a lot of similarities in energy. If you go back and look at the tsunami or Katrina, there may be some events that force us to be in the moment, that connect us. And sometimes that is through a painful experience because it's bringing us into that moment. Again, there's an opportunity. Part of this is ending a cycle, right? So there is going to be a loss. Like, you're breathing out energy, but you're also preparing to breathe in new energy. This is a new cycle. It lasts 13, 14 years. I think the last time was 2010, and there was a retrograde connection going on back then. So this period of change kind of had a little bit more complexity, where this is we're dealing in that complex moment now. And when we are shifting into a fresh views, fresh moments in time, right? And there's a lot of opportunity there. This is where we get to do something new, take our lives in the direction we want to go, by being in the moment, by experiencing where we are now, enjoying that, taking the most out of that. Because there's good stuff. There's always stuff that you can appreciate, and there's always stuff that can bring you down. So it really is just a matter of choosing your focus, because that's where you're magnetizing, right? That's what is connecting you to the next moment. So pick the good shit. Pick what's valuable. What do you truly value? It's probably not holding on to baggage from however long ago, or even the losses that might feel very current, like I said, ego attachment, if we're only thinking about how it affected us, then we're not seeing the bigger picture. We're not seeing how losing somebody also opens us up. We're not seeing how things that didn't work out allow other things to work out. They give space, right? And there's only so much that we can do in this life, that, creating some space for growth. If we get too comfortable, we cease to grow. We lose that momentum. And, it takes a catalyst every now and again, to bring us out of those spaces and give us the opportunity to move. It's a lot of that Uranian energy is moving, right? It's electric. It can be very charged, but that's also where new ideas come in. It's, again, from that planetary position, it's in between Saturn and Neptune, right? So our minds, not what we know, but what we think, our imagination, so it's taking those ideas of Neptune and the structure and traditions of Saturn, and it's bringing them together. So it becomes tangible, right? This is where invention takes place. It's because we're able to take something abstract and bring it into now, bring it into a form that can have a life of its own, So there's a lot of really great energy that's there. It's there. It's able to get tapped into, and just focus the magnet in the right place, and propel yourself forward in being in the moment, experiencing what it has, and you'll see, lots of opportunities on the 20th to be in the moment, something that you can connect to and experience now. That's the beauty part. That's part of making art. It's very Uranian because it's connecting to the moment. Doing astrology is a study of moments. It's also very Uranian. Jupiter, while we deal with expansion, it has a lot to do with belief, because what we're believing, like if we believe in a larger future, we're more able to connect to it. And it is that multiverse. So when we have Uranus and Jupiter in connection, what we're doing is connecting to our individuality, and people that share that perspective. With Jupiter being the whole collective and Uranus being what's authentically you, this is where we resonate with multiples that share, right? So we have an opportunity to share what is authentically us with other people that share that also. There's a lot of fun to be had, a lot of positive expressions of this. With polarity, it's not like everybody's gonna be able to have a good time. We can all kind of learn how to activate that part, but it's a wave. So some people are experiencing the other side of that wave. Some people are able to release through Chiron, while other people are taking in new pain to deal with. And it is that breath of life that's going on. So having some empathy for other people, but not allowing that to drag you into it, because that's not your moment. Death is one of those things that a lot of people really struggle with. Time keeps moving. It's this energetic wave, and it's only through our ego and attaching to how it makes us feel that we lose ourselves in the fact that it's continuing on. It's getting to do new versions of energetic realities. These moments they're available somewhere. If I can't win the lottery every day, right? Nobody can. But there's another version of me that is winning the lottery, that is getting to experience that. And I, through connecting myself to that other moment of time, I can be happy for that person. I can feel empathy for another person. And that's kind of the beauty space of it, is that we are all connected. There is, everything's available, and some version of us is experiencing it. So that helps me to just be in this space, this shell, this form, this view, and be happy with that, because we don't see it all. I can perceive anything in another person, and they're better. I can compare myself to another. That just takes me out of experiencing the joy, experiencing the moment for all that this moment can be. And that's where I want to be. So I hope we can all find that appreciation for our own moment. And even in those hard spaces, like, that's life, that's there's value there in that energetic experience, you know? Yeah, just try and keep in balance and out of that waterlogged place. Because there's a lot of beauty in finding that balance. And it makes, it's ease. It's ease. I don't know how else to say it. So much love.